I thought I was being careful, but this may be the reason I never go on another online date ever again. One week I was feeling a little lonely, a bit more than usual. I was talking to some of my girlfriends about it and they suggested I downloaded a dating app. I shrugged it off at first because I never really believed those apps would work for me. I'm already pretty paranoid as it is, and I would have a hard time trusting someone I met on the internet. Fast forward a couple weeks, I started to get curious, so I downloaded this app called Hinge. I didn't swipe right on just anyone, and I never gave out my number too quickly. If a guy seemed pushy or came on too strong, I unmatched and moved on. But the truth is, when you're young and single, it's easier to let your guard down when someone feels different. After quite a bit of left swiping, getting past all the mirror selfie guys and the hookup culture guys, that's how I ended up meeting Daniel. His profile was simple. A couple of hiking photos, a picture with his niece, and a bio that said, "Looking for someone genuine, not here for hookups." Compared to the usual guys I saw in the one-worded prompts, it felt refreshing. We had matched on a Tuesday night. He messaged me almost right away. Finally, someone who doesn't look fake. I laughed. It wasn't the typical opener I'm used to, but it was something different that got the conversation to flow. Over the next week, we talked every day. He wasn't overly charming, but he was attentive. He remembered little things like how I hated coconut, but I loved Thai food. He'd send me songs he thought I'd like, and pictures of his dog sprawled across the couch. He just felt like a genuine guy I can finally get to know. So when he asked if I wanted to meet up for dinner, I said yes. We met at a casual Italian place downtown. Public, busy, safe. He just looked like his photos, tall, clean-cut, kind of awkward, but in a harmless way. The dinner at this restaurant was amazing. He knew I liked Italian and he picked an excellent place to impress. We talked about work, favorite movies, travel dreams. He was easy to be around. Though there were moments his eyes lingered on me a little too long, I just brushed it off as nerves. After about an hour and a half, we were wrapping things up. The bill came and he picked up the tab like a gentleman. In my head, I already liked this guy because he's doing all the right things, like picking up the tab, great restaurant choice, and easy conversation. Afterward, he walked me to my car. He had leaned in like he wanted a kiss, but I gave him a polite hug instead. His smile faded for a second before he said, "I'll see you soon again, right?" I nodded and said, "Definitely." At the time, I didn't think much of it. I just got in my car and started to drive back home. I lived about 20 minutes away from the restaurant, so my drive wasn't long. But before I could even get home, he texted me immediately after. "You looked so beautiful tonight. I can't stop thinking about you." It was sweet until the messages kept coming. "Did you get home safe? What are you doing right now? Are you thinking about me?" It would have been okay if he stopped at the making sure I got home text. That was sweet, but now this is getting a little too clingy and it started scaring me a bit. It wasn't just once or twice, it was constant, every hour. By the next morning, I had over 20 unread texts from him. My stomach sank. I told him gently that I was busy and at work and I couldn't talk all day. He sent back a smiley face and said he understood. But an hour later, another text, "Just thinking about you." And another, and another. I tried to convince myself he was just excited. Some people move faster than others, right? But things got worse. On Friday, I was walking out of my gym when I saw Daniel leaning against his car in the parking lot. I froze. I hadn't told him where I was working out at, so by this point I'm actually freaking out a bit, but he was very casual about this, like this is normal behavior for him. After taking a second, I finally walked up to him. He grinned when he saw me. "Small world, huh?" My voice was caught in my throat. Yeah? What are you doing here?" "I just finished my workout, thought I'd say hi." Something in me knew he was lying. I doubt he just finished a workout. He wasn't sweating at all, and he had no gym bag or clothes were in his car, but at this point, I'm really scared, so I have to be careful how I react. He asked me when I'd be free to get together again soon. I politely told him I'm not sure yet, but hopefully soon. He smiled and said great. That night I didn't answer his text. I needed space. At 2 a.m. I woke up to the phone buzzing. 10 missed calls, all from Daniel. I turned my phone off, heart pounding, and eventually fell back asleep. The next morning, there was a knock at my door. When I looked through the peephole, my stomach dropped. It was him. Daniel was standing there holding a coffee in a paper bag. I thought we could have breakfast. he called through the door. I didn't answer. I just stood there, frozen, wondering how this man found out where I lived. He knocked again, louder this time. Come on, don't be like that. I drove all the way here. I backed away slowly, trying not to make a sound. After what felt like forever, he finally left. But when I went outside later, there was a note stuck under my windshield wiper. You don't have to play hard to get. I know you feel it too. After that, he was too far gone to recover from this creepiness, so I went along and I blocked his number and blocked him from Hinge. For a few days, it was quiet. I started to breathe again, thinking maybe it was over. Then the messages started coming from new numbers, always the same tone, always him. Why aren't you answering me? You think you can ignore me? I saw you at Target. That dress looked amazing on you. I hadn't seen him, but he had seen me, and that made him even more creepy to think about. Even the slightest thought of him watching me made my skin crawl. One night, I came home late from work. As I pulled into my apartment complex, my headlights swept across the lot, and I saw him. I thought maybe I was going crazy, but I saw him in a silver car, and for sure knew it was him sitting there 2 rows over. He didn't flinch when my lights hit him. He just sat there, staring. I panicked. Instead of parking, I drove straight past and out the other exit. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the wheel. I ended up crashing at my friend's place that night. When I came back the next morning, there was another note on my door. You don't need to run from me. I'm patient. I'll wait. That's when I went to the police. I showed them the texts, the notes, everything. They filed a report but told me unless he physically harmed me, their hands were tied. A restraining order was an option, they said, but it could take weeks. I felt sick. That night, I pushed a chair under my doorknob and left every light in my apartment on. I didn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., I heard it. A soft scrape at my balcony door. My heart stopped. Too scared to even look, I grabbed my phone with shaking hands and dialed 911. By the time the police arrived, he was gone, but on the glass, smeared in condensation, were the marks of 2 handprints, his. Watching me from the other side, I moved in with my sister the next week, changed my number, got rid of most of my social medias. It's almost been a year since then. Sometimes I let myself believe he's gone, that maybe he finally moved on to someone else, but every once in a while, a random account views my private stories, no posts, no followers, just watching. And sometimes, late at night, I swear I see the same car parked across the street, engine off, lights off, just waiting.